One thing I love about the tiny house and nomadic movement is the adventurous spirit that it brings out in people. And there's no better adventure home than a renovated van. So in today's video, we're gonna take a closer look at van life by touring one couple's adventure van dwelling.
Hi, I'm Rich. This is my wife, Heather. We're in Pace Bend Park outside of Austin, Texas. We'd love to take some time to show you our self-converted Sprinter van. We really got to this point about 4 years ago. We saw a documentary on Netflix about tiny homes. It really made you question why, I was paying for a full mortgage and why we had all this stuff. And we knew that when the kids got out of the house, we're not going to need a 4-bedroom house, a swimming pool and all that. So we started looking into tiny homes originally, and we decided it's really going to be difficult to do that. We were worried about the logistics of moving around, finding parking, and it seemed like a kind of a stressful thing. When we looked at all that, we were thinking, let's downsize as empty nesters for a few years. We kind of have this window between when the kids get out of school and when they kind of find their way, figure out where they're going to end up. We're going to be mobile for a few years, kind of see where things go. Van life's the perfect way to do that. We bought our Sprinter van brand new from the factory, and it's about $55,000 for a Sprinter with the 4-wheel drive package. The price to convert the van for materials only was about $22,000, $23,000. It's a long, tedious process. It really is. We estimated about 900 hours of work between the two of us, 30 weekends over a year. To build it yourself or to have it built, first is going to be financial. What can you afford? Are you willing to take the time to do it right and to research it? And if you're willing to put in that time, then you can come up with a really nice van.
We wrote it on a napkin and then we made it happen.
Yeah.
Look at it. It looks exactly like we thought, and it's just a great feeling.
Really brought us to van life is going to be the financial aspects of it and the freedom. We married young, we had kids young, so we were kind of tied down since the beginning, and we really want to go and adventure now before we get to retirement age.
We got to get out there and do what we can do while we can do it and have our adventures now. We don't want to wait.
I think van life makes that possible for us. So we're in the back of the van. We had the factory floor, wooden floor that came with the van, and then we just laid tongue and groove Pergo type flooring right on top. You don't have to screw anything down. The ceiling is something we get a lot of comments on, and although it looks extremely fancy, it's actually just textured wallpaper. So part of our design is to try to keep everything hidden away. Underneath the seat that I'm sitting in is our toilet. So we have a cartridge style toilet. It has a water tank on the top and a black water tank on the bottom. When everything's closed up, there's no smell whatsoever. We put a special pellet into the tank and it helps with the odors and everything like that. So we're real happy with how that's turned out. So we don't have a stand-up type shower in the van, but we did put in a shower head. So this is something that you can get for an RV or a boat. It's a hot water and cold water. You can wash your head in the sink, or it's long enough to come outside so you can take a shower outside the van if you want to. So that's something that's pretty important. The other thing you see here is the water fill. So I have a 15-gallon water tank underneath the bed. We can easily fill this up, with a hose and a filter system at any RV park or a spigot anywhere else. So this area of the van is a countertop that's on top of the garage. We have a small garage because we have this big open galley area. So the stuff in there is really just camping gear and things we get to every day, plus an extension cord and water filling hose and things like that. It also can be used as a desk. You put a laptop on, or when we're cooking, we put extra things over here. So it's nice to have this extra countertop here. We have some extra towels here. Mostly it's for the dog, with muddy paws and things like that. We lay them out on the floor in certain spots when we know we're going to be stepping in with muddy feet. And so we kind of roll those up and put here. We have a light that kicks on and kicks off for working. And then up here is where we keep our dog leash and brush and things that we get to pretty often. All right, so this is our closet, or armoire, as my wife calls it. It's where we keep all the clothing. So on the left side we have shelving, so we end up rolling and folding up a lot of our stuff to put in here. Shoes along the bottom, the clean shoes, slippers and things like that. And then on the right side is where we hang up clothes, so everything's on hangers. And the bottom is just miscellaneous storage. There's a wheel well there, so it's kind of an awkward space, but all pretty convenient to get to. These little latches pinch it closed when you close it, so far nothing's flown out and blown up since we've been driving it. So this is our kitchen area. It's about 5 foot long, this countertop. And the countertop's made of black walnut, so we just went to a lumber yard. We picked out 5 planks, and then we took them to a cabinet maker who glued them together and cut the general shape of it. So that's one thing we didn't do ourselves. For the sink, we ended up using an under-mounted hammered copper sink off Amazon. We have a water filter on the cold water on the tap, so it gets that funny plastic taste out. The water from the sink, the gray water, goes down into a 5-gallon water container. And underneath this sink, we also have a 3-gallon water heater. We have 4 overhead cabinets, lips along the bottom to keep things from sliding out. So we don't require any kind of latches that hold the doors closed. We have soft close latches. In the back here we keep cooking things. We have to be careful with temperatures though. Even the sun melts things, so a lot of stuff that has to be refrigerated we keep underneath. Underneath we have one more cabinet that has all our electrical appliances. So we use an Instapot. Having a large battery system, not having propane, gives us a lot of room for a lot of gadgets and appliances because I do like to cook. The main thing we do cook with is an induction cooktop. So we use a cast iron pot with induction cooktop. It's very efficient. Between that and the Instapot, we have pretty much any meal we can think of we can make with just what we have now. So the front part of the van is where we spend most of our time. During the day, it's a couch that can seat about 4 or 5 people. Across from it is another bench we use for storage, but just another place for people to sit. And then at night, this bed slides out and makes a full-size queen bed, so we didn't have to compromise on space. So simply to make the bed, let's flip this back out of the way, and the frame is actually going to rest on this box and this other box that we made. But to pull it out, you simply just slide out the slats all the way out, pull the mattresses out, that quick. And then we just put the sheets on and all that. So everything's stored up here at the top. Our sheets, our pillows, all those things, and we just put them down and make the bed. So the bed slides out into a full bed, but I also put hinges on it so they can lift up and easily get to the utilities that are underneath. The water system consists of a 15-gallon water tank and a SureFlow pump. The electrical system was designed by Tiny Watts Solar. It's a 300 amp hour lithium battery system. There's a 300 watt solar panel on the roof connected to a solar controller. When we're running the engine, we can also charge the batteries with the alternator. And then of course we have a DC fuse box and an AC breaker box that finishes out the system. Another feature we added to the van was the air conditioner system. When we plug in the shore power, we can run the air conditioner. We can also run it off the battery pack for 2 or 3 hours just to help cool down after we were driving somewhere. And it also has a heater built into it, a heating coil addition. So it does an electric heater too. We can use it to heat the van. Let's talk about the exterior of the van. It's about 22 feet long, which is the same size as a large pickup truck. As long as we back it in, we can fit it in most parking spots without a problem. The solar panel on top is a 300 watt house panel. We used brackets that we bought off eBay. They're low profile, so you don't really see the panel up there, so it's really nice. You feel like you have something special with van life that you want to share. You want to talk about it and tell people about it. We've moved around and had, I guess, the struggles in our life and all that and got through it. And this is like kind of just the next chapter where we can try something new and kind of stretch our minds and our abilities and, just see what's next.
I think for me, the hardest part was, people were like, what about your kids? They're not ready. They always come home after school or after college. What are you going to do? And I'd be more worried about showing the kids that they couldn't do this if they wanted to. I think this is important for them to see us moving around and getting active and getting out there and following our dreams.
This is a major lifestyle change.
We don't go into this lighthearted. We realize that the stressors are going to be totally different every day. There's a ton of things that we're going to have to worry about, but it's not going to be like it was. It's going to be a new thing every day, a totally new opportunity every day. And I just look forward to that and making new connections and seeing what we find.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and check out my website for more tiny house stories.